What's up, beautiful people of YouTube? My name's Roundedtiktak, and for once, we're not going to have a long preamble. A lot of people asked for a guide on how to beat Frostnite 2019, and currently the meta to do that, because Epic ruined the game, is a stall build. So I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to actually get that done. This is guaranteed for the 45-minute clear, as long as you have people who are all on the same page, and with a few tweaks, you can get that hour and a half completion. First up, we're going to talk about traps. So this is your trap section. Now, the goal of a stall build is not to kill anything. If you don't kill anything in Fortnite, nothing new spawns. That's the whole idea behind it. So you're going to need a certain kind of traps that stall out the enemies but do not do damage. Imagine it a giant-sized version of a stall build on a retrieve the data. So the first thing we're going to talk about are wall launchers. Wall launchers are needed for this 100%, but they do not really matter. The roles really do not matter. They can be whatever they are, and you don't have to waste any reperk or perk up switching anything around. The next thing we're going to talk about are the anti-air traps, the missile traps. These are 100% necessary. Everybody should at least have a purple version of them, and I'm sure if you flux them, all you get is durability. You can only roll it as such, durability and reload speed, so you're good to go. You're gonna need about 15 of these. The next trap that we are going to talk about are two more before we get to the main one. Stun lights. Again, rolls don't matter too much on these. You're going to be using them close to the base to hopefully stun a smasher and buy you another 3.5 seconds, 2.5 seconds, whatever it may be. You're not going to use many of these, maybe 8 throughout the entire mission. But one that is very, very important is a sound wall trap. On wave 12, there is a propane wave, and every wave besides that, there's always going to be one or two. Plus, they create crowd control for the husks not hitting your main walls when you're trying to stall them out. I would not recommend putting impact and knockback on these. We just weren't using mine, so I didn't change the rolls. Get as much reload speed and effect duration onto them as possible. Now, for a 45-minute clear, you need 5 impact floor launchers. This is the biggest trap that you need, and luckily it's base game, so everybody can get one. If you want to make the hour and a half mark, you're gonna need 3 pairs of these, all with different rolls. I know that sounds a little redundant, but they are necessary to get that hour and a half clear. The other rolls you want are 4 impact and 3 impact with 2 reload. All of these provide crowd control for the enemies, and depending on where you place them within the giant cone that we're going to be building, that's where they go. Just for a quick highlight, the inner circles are the 3, the next one is the 4, and the outer ones are the 5. The higher the cone goes, the more impact you need. But those are the only traps you need for the entire mission. I lied. Those weren't the only 4 traps you needed. You need a healing pad, floor spikes, or wall spikes, all with that heals attached building for 4.8% of its max health every 10 seconds. That stacks with Power Base's Nox Commander perk, allowing for a lot more healing to go in the game. The other perks do not matter at all unless you really want healing pads, but you're going to place these within the cone itself, in the inner walls, and on the stairs on the outside. That's it. Let's move on to heroes. The heroes you are looking at are Power Base Nox, Ice King, Base Kyle, and a farmer of your choice. Either the dinosaur guy, Fossil Southie, or Arc Jess. Either one is fine. Just make sure you have the energy regeneration to punch a lot of stuff. But let's take a look at the base perks here. We're bringing power modulation in this one with Lofty Architecture, Frozen Castle, Mega Base, Work because somebody's going to have to be an off farmer, and Night Stalker. This is probably the most important perk in the game, as it is always night in Frostnite for some reason, and you will constantly be running 25% faster. Coupled with a Baron for move speed, you're looking at a ton of extra movement speed that will get you around the map. For any other changes that you may want to do, if we take Frozen Castle into the main spot, we'll just replace it with power modulation. So any kind of constructor you're playing, you're just swapping out the main one for one of the supports. But every single person should have one of the main constructors, either Base Kyle, Ice King, or Power Base Nox. Any one of those heroes times 3 is what you're going for. Mega base is in here because you need the extra movement speed for the top of the, or the extra base size for the top of the cone for the lobbers. Work because again, off farming, and we talked about Night Stalker. All of the constructors should bring recycling, as since we're not doing damage, we don't need enhanced traps. Then the gadgets are going to be twofold. One of the people who are farming should have turrets. That's to help take down some early Krampuses along with a slow field. Two of the constructors should carry a banner for important moments, wave 14 and the double mini boss wave, and one person should have a teleporter. Your last 2 slots should be 3 more slow fields. So altogether you have 4 slow fields, 2 banners, 1 teleporter, and 1 turret, and a partridge in a pear tree. That's the build you guys are running. Play whatever farmer character you can make work and just farm your butts off. There's not many weapons that you are actually going to be using. There's only a couple instances where you need to kill anything anyway, and for that case, you're going to use something like the Mythic Launcher or the Bundle Bus, the top 2 best weapons in the game. Your single target damage, because you're most likely going to be killing takers 95% of the time, but that you can do that. The only other weapon I would really suggest, of course, is a movement speed Baron. I made mine level 93 and it's purple, so I can craft it with obsidian and not bright core and rotating gizmos instead of an active power cell, because they are very rare within Frostnite. The only other weapon that I'm going to suggest, if you guys happen to have it but it's not necessary, is a Blizzard Blitzer, but only a specific one. I haven't covered this weapon on my channel yet, but it is amazing. Hitting an enemy with this weapon 7 times causes them to freeze for a short duration, does not affect enemies that have recently been frozen, and can only occur once every 2.5 seconds. This makes Zenith obsolete in most cases. Allowing for a freeze on a smasher who's attacking your walls can in fact save your game, so you might want to pick one of these up if you have them, but if not, it's no real big deal. Wave 12 through 14 is the hardest wave, are the hardest waves within all of Frostnite, and they are fire, so this weapon definitely comes into play. We're going to cover this weapon on the channel real soon. But that is all you need to know, guys, about traps, the builds, and what weapons you might be crafting. Let's take a look at what you should actually build. So we're going to recreate this in my Stonewood SSD. The black object you see in front of you is going to take the place of the burner. This is real simple like to do, and you can try it yourself to get a feel for the build. When you load in and you're in the starting area, your teammates should drop the 2 builders who are going to be focusing on the original build. They should drop them all the materials they possibly can. So Mago's just dropped me some wood, metal, and some stone, and off we go. We're going to build this like a normal RTD mission with their inverted stairs. Even though the nerf to the stairs has happened and they're kind of useless, we're not using them to stop smashers. The next thing you're going to do is simply place corners like you would in a regular RTD stall build, something along the lines of this. That is the foundation of the build, and you would place regular walls around here like so. As you're very limited on resources at this point, but you don't need to build any trap tunnels. You and your other 2 constructors will come up to the top where you're going to place your bases. So this is what your base should look like on wave 1. We cannot place our bases because it's an SSD, but you would normally place them here, here, and here. This is all you need for wave 1 of Frostnite. Just use whatever metal you have left to upgrade these stairs and the core wall right here. The next thing you're going to be doing is pretty simple. One person who's up top is going to be eating all of the base's recycler, and to use that to build a lobber screen. But this lobber shield isn't like your normal one. You're going to be using just a giant porta-fort kind of design, with as many stairs or inverted ramps as you can possibly use. Again, you're going to be hurting for resources, but it's not a huge deal because you have the bases down with increased health, increased repair, and freezing on every attack. Another thing that you should have ready to go before the second wave even starts are these wall spikes that we talked about. The heal perk will help these walls stay alive as you start upgrading and finish upgrading your entire build. So all you got to do is jump down here and place them in there. Another thing that you should do that doesn't need to be upgraded at all is just place a couple of these inverted triangles like this. What this allows is just for quick access to run up here and just be ready for whatever needs to be fixed, or if you're escaping a taker or anything like that. The husks will sometimes bash on this wall, but never is there ever enough of them to actually damage it with 3 competing bases. As the mission keeps going and you're upgrading, what's feeding to the recycler gets more and more, allowing for more mats to be picked up on every wave. As one person is constantly doing that, make sure another teammate is down here upgrading these walls. Once everything is tier 3, then you're ready for some traps. As you're going, your teammates should be upgrading everything. Around wave 2, latest 3, all of the metal on the core should be definitely upgraded to tier 3. In fact, no later than tier 2. The core is the most important part, and the lobber shield comes second. You're not going to have to deal with any lobbers till around wave 3. The next thing you're going to need to start doing is placing your traps. The farther in you are to the core, the less impact and knockback you need. So the ones that are for the first spot right next to the core are going to be 2 impact. Everything else besides that is you're going to go up 1 more. So the next one is going to be tier 3, and you're going to place these all around. This is all you need to get through most of the first 8 or so rounds. This is more than enough to stop any husk from getting through this defense. The next thing you're going to do is place either sound walls or pushers onto the core. I personally prefer sound walls, but pushers work pretty well too. The next thing you're going to do real simply is use one of those traps we discussed with a healing perk on the back end. Well, I have my healing traps and I'm going to craft 4 of them. It's your farmer's job to get you whatever you may need for whatever trap you're trying to craft. And you're just going to place these on the inside. Now, this build right here will definitely carry you throughout the first 10 waves easily. This is the core concept of what you're doing. As the waves go on, the lobber shield extends up to 5 to 6 tiles, and really it's more than enough to take care of anything you're going to be fighting except the very, very late waves. Next thing you're going to focus on around wave 4 or 5 is you're going to start extending the actual blockade. What I mean by that is right here you're going to see me basically just continue to build out. The only spot where you do not build one of these walls is for the first 2 tiles of the original core slant. If you build a wall here, using this wall pusher or this floor launcher right here doesn't really do much for you. Since they have so little impact on them anyway, the first floor you're going to put is somewhere out here, just in case they are in front of this slant right here. Anything else and you would build it more like this. We build out 2, put corner walls there, and then do rotating opposite walls as you go. So we place 1 there, skip 1, place 1 there, skip 1, place 1 there, skip 1. You're going to use these next ones as 3 impact because the higher the lobber shield is, we're using the entire lobber shield as a recycler, the higher the husk needs to go. So the more impact on the floor launcher you need. Remember, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 3. These would be 4, and that would be 5. Now, I'm sure you're wondering why these walls are here. These walls are there simply for wall launchers. Like I said, you do not need any specific perk on these. 5 impact, 3 reload, it doesn't matter, but you're just trying to stop the husks from getting to your base. So they would look something like this. If this was a husk spawn right here, they would walk this way, possibly get hit by this, have to do it again, get thrown up or knocked back from here or the lobber shield, and it takes them a much longer time to get to your actual base. By the time they do, it's not going to be many of them because the husks will be so split. As this is going on, around wave 7 or 8, you're going to start building one of these. You have to come up here and just build inside of the inverted pyramid, I guess, because you're going to place a certain trap on here. The brand new trap that we got, which is the anti-air turret. What this does is on the later waves, the skulls will 100% break through regardless. It doesn't matter how many bases or what tier metal this is, they will break through. However, we have a nice counter for that in these new turrets. Just place them along the way anywhere you want, and when a skull does break through, these will shoot them down almost guaranteed. As long as you have them perked up with enough reload, it doesn't really matter where the skull comes in, because they're everywhere. Most skulls do not come in on the first 3 levels and start breaking around this point right here. As they break in, they will land here, and before they can even hit the ground, the anti-air trap goes off and kills them, making it pretty simple to defend from lobbers, which is a nice touch by Epic Games. This build right here, although simple in design, is very effective and will guarantee you to get to wave 14, which is where everybody is having issues. On wave 14, do not go down below. Have your 2 players with banners stay up here. The burner itself, all you have to do is place blue glow inside. Occasionally drop your slow field in a corner where the wall is having trouble. Once the walls do break from the smashers, just have somebody with hotfixer in their build, but if not, no big deal. Just spam walls and repair to the best of their ability. If you really want to be fancy, have another Outlander with a Baron go down low and drop taunt and other abilities to kite the husks away, the little ones, while the smashers are building or bashing on your walls. This is, from what I hear, the hardest part of the entire defense, and it's hard to do even with a perfect build like this. We have had issues with it even so, and that is the gist of the build. Once you get past that wave 14, the only other waves you have to worry about are 17, which are triple mini bosses, and let's, I guess, talk about them real fast. If you make it after wave 14, the only 2 waves you have to worry about is 17 and 20. Each one of these waves spawn 3 smasher mini bosses, and you're gonna have to deal with them. However, there is some issues here, but for the main part, you're going to just kite them off the map. As soon as they spawn, shoot them once or twice and run your ass away. The only issue is if your mini bosses have vortex, or even worse, vortex and acid pools. If that's the case, get your Outlander to kite them, as they can phase shift and have a lot more mobility than a constructor running around with a hammer. As you can see here, Clicky happened to get all 3 mini bosses spawning on him, and he started running away. I didn't even go near them because I didn't want to aggro them. Also, what you can see here is there are a bunch of floor launchers missing. In this run in particular, our farmer disconnected at wave 6, so it was hard to replace them. But don't get it twisted, you will 100% have to replace a ton of traps. With a full team and a farmer farming constantly, you should have enough to replace them as you go. But you will have to replace them, especially if you don't have max or near max trap durability. In fact, one of the flex spots for a constructor can be Harper for some added durability, but you're going to 100% without question have to replace some of those floor launchers. And that's it, guys. In this footage, you can see the whole build at wave, I think this is 17, 20, something along those lines, and you can see what it should look like. We have the healing traps on the lobber screen, we have the turrets, we've got the full thing, we've got the dance traps, creating crowd control. It's just how this works. Make sure everybody drops their bases early, and that'll get you through the early rounds. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I know Fortnite is in a rough spot right now. I understand that. Hopefully there are more changes along the way, at least from what I'm hearing, and we'll see where the game goes there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like streams, I stream 5 days a week over at twitch.tv/Roundedtiktak, and it's not just me breaking down mathematical equations. We actually have a good time over there. Maybe you want to come by and say what's up. If you're new to the channel and you like videos like this, we've been covering every single thing from these last 2 updates that we possibly can. Think about subscribing and give it a like. It really does help out the channel. Thank you guys so much. I will see you on the next one. Tiktak out.